Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this webinar, we are trying to analyze what are the different sort of instruments of investment and how do startups raise funds. So we are trying to concentrate on two different Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In this webinar, we are trying to analyze what are the different sort of instruments of investment and how do startups raise funds. So we are trying to concentrate on two different instrument of investment, that is CCPS and CCDs. In this webinar, we will try to understand and analyze the different instruments and what are the features of this instrument, how they are issued, what are the main characteristics of the agreements of this instrument, and then we will try to understand through a case study that is based on real life, that how companies and startups uses these instruments and how, as and when this instruments gets converted, what happens then, right? So let's first understand these two instruments that we will be talking about, right? One is, of course, the age-old CCPS. The other is the CCDs. Now, what are these two instruments? CCPS are compulsory convertible preferentials and CCDs are compulsory convertible debentures. So by essential, these two are debentures and preferentials. This get compulsory converted after a particular period of time or a event that takes place. In this webinar, we will try to analyze these events, this particular tenure, and what happens during this conversion period. This gets converted both of these instruments into equity shares. That's the end game, the end goal of this thing. But when these things happen, what are the procedures of issuing it and why it is so common, right? We will try to understand and analyze this things over and over again in this tenure of the webinar. My colleague Jappreet has joined in, who will try to help us understand the various facets of CCPS, right? So Jappreet, if you can take us through this.
Hi everyone, thanks Shomik. So basically, when the founders comes into ask us the common questions are, how can they raise funds? The methods are, or the financial instruments are, by issue of equity shares, by issue of preference shares, by issue of CCD or convertible notes. Today we will be focusing on mainly on CCPS, that is compulsory convertible preference shares, and CCDs. So there are two types of preference shares which an founder can issue or a company can issue. Those are CCPS and OCRPS. CCPS are compulsory convertible shares, whereas OCRPS are optionable redeemable preference shares, which entitle the holder an option whether they want to convert it into equity or they want to redeem and get back the money. So focusing on compulsory convertible shares. So what are these instruments? These are financial instruments that combine preference like features of both preference shares and debentures. Under this, the holder gets the right to get the dividend as well as an option to participate and vote in certain matters that
Right, Jappreet. So I think what Jappreet is trying to understand and make the viewers go through it is that as and when this gets converted, it gets converted into equity shares, and hence there are two facets. One, of course, of preference shares, and the other is, of course, of equity share. So they will get dividends, right? Similar